and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, another day went by when we actually saw the benchmark indices end nearly flattish with a positive bias as well. But they managed to hold on to the gains, and that was the good part, and that should be enough to comfort the Nifty bulls, who are now positioning themselves for the outcome from the US Federal Reserve's policy decision that comes out tonight. But there were also plenty of stock-specific actions that continued in the broader markets as well as the newly listed space too. The Nifty Bank also traded in a narrow band, but it still managed for a fourth consecutive day of gains as well, although it could not hold on to that 52,300 mark on the upside as well. All eyes are clearly on the Fed. The debate goes on whether it will be a 25 basis points cut or a 50 basis points cut, and the question remains that whether the Nifty will scale above 25,500 ahead of the Federal Policy Reserve decision, or apart from this, will we see some more consolidation on the index level? Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning in Delhi. The skies are absolutely clear, and so are they on the Lal Street. Wednesday is likely to be a rest day for us, Sakshi, right in the middle of the week and ahead of this all-important major meet by the US Federal Reserve around midnight tonight, and we will be reacting to it tomorrow, which is also the weekly expiry of the Nifty. Over the last 3 sessions, we will have this Nifty chart right in front of you. Over the last 3 sessions, you've seen the Nifty remain range bound. Bears haven't gone beyond 25,450, and the bulls haven't let up below 24,250. So this narrow range is where the Nifty is stuck in, and this is also an event which is being looked across globally, so everybody is quiet. All traders, all investors, all equity strategists, commodity strategists are all waiting for the US Federal Reserve to announce either a 25 basis point rate cut or a 50 basis point rate cut, mostly 25. And God forbid, if there is nothing, then you will have a massive sell-off. But 25 is there, and as a lot of people have been saying, including Sakshi, it's been priced in. Now let's look at the basic details of the market. As far as Nifty is concerned, over the last 1 week, before this event started and at the beginning of the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, you've added 2%. That's about 475-500 points on the Nifty in the past 5 trading sessions. It is the Bank Nifty's weekly expiry. I'll request the PCR to file that chart. You have a 1200 point uptick on Bank Nifty over the last 5 trading sessions, up 2.3% in the past week or so. So flat trade on Bank Nifty. Option writers will have a very good day in trying to eat call premium. You've seen happening on Nifty over the last 3 sessions, just flat trade, so options are just being sold. Now what is actually happening beyond in the cash market? As we've been pointing out, the stellar listing of Bajaj Bajaj Housing Finance on Monday has kick-started the primary market. 2 10% circuits back after back, and of course yesterday it was again the top traded counter. So keep an eye out on Bajaj Housing. There is a possibility you just might see another uptick today. It may not be 10% because now valuations have normally caught up, and at 181 rupees Bajaj Finance. Actually, I have this very interesting data. If you look at the top 7 housing finance companies in India, which is PNB Housing, Canfin Housing, a couple of private housing players on the financing side, and add their market capitalization, it comes to 1,42,000 crores, and the market capitalization of Bajaj Housing is 1,51,000 crores. So somewhere valuations will kick in and you will see a pause, but whether that happens today or not, only time will tell. But one set that I'm very keenly looking at is the energy space. The government has reduced the windfall tax on crude oil prices from 1,800 rupees a ton to 0. That's very, very good for Oil India, ONGC in particular, which in the September month so far is down 11.3%. Reliance is down 3.5%. OMCs, that's BPCL, IOC, and HPCL are down anywhere between 2 and 4%. So this entire energy basket along with Petronet LNG is going to be in thick trade today. Crude oil prices globally have also bounced back. You have Brent oil spot now around $74 a barrel. That's a big plus for ONGC. So two positives. Keep an eye out on ONGC and Oil India along with RIL. They are going to provide a lot of support. But it's going to be a rest day for Sakshi and me. Everybody will be on sidelines. You will have low volumes, minimal bounces, and people will be doing all they can to reduce their trading positions to zero ahead of this major event. Sakshi, now tell us what happened on Wall Street yesterday and what are our foreign friends doing on Dalal Street. What are the numbers looking at?
Absolutely. So, of course, it was a range-bound trade even on the Wall Street as well overnight. We did see the US stocks also ending nearly unchanged on Tuesday, giving up the earlier gains that had vaulted the S&P 500 and the Dow to record highs, as well as investors now brace for the first Federal Reserve rate cut in 4.5 years. The Nasdaq ended higher by about 0.2% in trade. The S&P 500 ended higher by just about 0.03%, which is flattish with a positive bias, and the Dow Jones traded down by 0.04% at the end count as well. Now, we've seen that the crude oil prices are already trading WTI at $71 a barrel, which is flattish. Brent crude trading at $73.69 a barrel as well. We've also seen that following the US markets, we've also seen that the Asian markets also opened mixed in the early trading session. We've seen that the Nikkei is trading in the green, and that's up by about 0.8%, Kospi up by 0.1%. You have the Hang Seng that's definitely doing well, 1.4% higher in trade. The Shanghai Composite up by about just 0.09%, and the Gift Nifty is also indicating a higher start for the Indian markets at 25,454. Let's see whether that sustains through the session, as well as that will be an important one to track as well. Overseas investors, they've turned net buyers of the Indian equities after a day of selling. Foreign portfolio mopped up stocks worth 482 odd crores. Domestic institutional investors stayed net buyers for the third session. They purchased equities worth 874 odd crore rupees in trade. So that's as far as the macro setup is concerned. Let's look at the key stocks that you should be looking at. Infosys will be in focus. The company has entered into a pact with UK-based Metro Bank for digital transformation, including Infosys Topaz, the AI-first offering using Gen AI technology. Mankind Pharma will be in focus. The board will consider raising funds via NCDs, commercial papers, debt securities on September 20th. SKF India will be in focus. The board of the company has decided to initiate separation of its automotive business with the objective of a separate listing on the Nasdaq Stockholm through a Lex Asia distribution to its shareholders as well. The intention is to list the automotive business on the index by the first half of 2026. Oil companies, as Shail has pointed out, will be in focus as well. Oil India, Vedanta, Reliance Industries, the upstream companies will clearly be in focus after the government has reduced the windfall tax on domestic crude production to zero. REC will be in focus. The company has signed a non-binding financial commitment to expand renewables loan portfolio to over 3 lakh crores by 2030. The move aims to increase the share of renewables in its overall loan book from the current 8% to overall 30% by the end of the decade. That's by 2030. The company's total loan book is also expected to reach by 10 lakh crore rupees as well. Torrent Power will be in focus. The company has received a letter of intent from Maharashtra Discom for a 1500 megawatt pumped hydro storage project as well. So that's something that you can keep an eye out on. Seagal India will be in focus. The National Highways Authority of India has designated the company as the L1 bidder for construction of 4 and 6 lane Northern Ayodhya bypass with a bid project cost of 1199 odd crores. So keep that in mind too. DCM Shriram will be in focus. The company has received an observation letter from BSE on the amalgamation of Lilly Commercial with itself. Satin Credit Care will be in focus. The board is considering fundraise via NCDs as well. Ratan India Enterprises, the company's unit Revolt Motors, has launched electric motorcycle RV1 at an introductory price of 84,990 and electric motorcycle premium variant RV1 Plus to have an introductory price of 99,990 rupees. So keep all of those stocks in mind today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be waiting for Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services, to help us navigate the markets today. But Sakshi, very quickly, I believe you have... Okay, Gaurang is with us. Very good morning to you, Gaurang, and a very warm welcome. नमस्कार, स्वागत है आपका. बहुत ही शानदार रैली आपने और आपके मित्रों ने दलाल स्ट्रीट पर फैला रखी है. गणेश चतुर्थी की आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. आज विसर्जन भी है. क्या ये दिन है कि आप अपना ट्रेडिंग पोर्टफोलियो सॉर्ट ऑफ समाप्त कर दें और 12 बजे तक रात के आराम करें? जो होगा कल वो देखा जाएगा.
एक ही सांस में काफी सारे प्रश्न आपने पूछ लिए हैं शैल भाई. तो पहले तो आपको और साक्षी को प्रणाम और शुभ प्रभात. सभी दर्शकों को प्रणाम और शुभ प्रभात हमारे तरफ से. तो गणेश विसर्जन कल हो गया और उम्मीद करता हूं कि विघ्नहर्ता आपकी, साक्षी की और बाकी सब BTTV के दर्शकों की विघ्न को दूर करे और आशीर्वाद देते हुए कल उन्होंने विदाई ले ली है. बाजार को लेकर के देखिए शैल भाई, I will say like this. Why are we so much over concerned about what the Fed is going to do in the US? Honestly, they will have to do what they have to do, keeping in mind what the data points tell them about the micro and macro data points that they get over there. In terms of reaction, I think the reaction is going to be a knee-jerk one, and we'll get back to basics in terms of what our data points are and when does the Monetary Policy Committee advise our Honorable RBI Governor to cut the rates over here, because we are steadily inching closer to that comfort zone or the elbow room wherein the inflation is getting on the lower trajectory. 25 basis point late this evening, if the announcement comes through from the FOMC Fed Chair, Mr. Powell, then I think that's factored in more or less. But if it is 50 basis point, if they take an aggressive stance, then I think that reaction will possibly slip over for a couple of more days, not only in the US markets, but also for the global markets and our markets as well. Trading portfolio, I am not too equipped to advise from a trading point of view, but from an investment point of view, my view this week on Monday that we gave out, Shell, is that if we are able to close about 25, 400, 450 decisively on the closing basis on Nifty spot, then I think the journey towards 25, 600, 650 will be rather a smooth one. It won't be very, very difficult. So let's hope that things work as per expectation on the market front, and maybe a little bit of aggressive rate cut from the US Fed Chair.
Very good morning to you, Gaurang, and thank you so much for taking the time out and giving all those blessings as well right at the start. And we hope that you, your family and your loved ones are also equally blessed, throughout the year. I want to first ask you just a sense of historically what's been the trend after the rate cut cycle starts. What is usually the trend in the stock markets? We are already talking about how 25 basis points may be priced in. So if that happens, there is no surprise. Even if 50 basis points cut happens, will there be just a knee-jerk reaction, or will there be, a longer time frame when actually we can expect some bull trend to continue?
So I think, like I said, Sakshi, I think historically speaking, I think the trend has been that, it gets digested over a period of time. Whatever the news flow comes from the OC. And more importantly, I think Bank of Japan and European Central Bank also, they are also going to announce certain data points which might have its reaction in their respective markets. But I think what I have seen, and more importantly, I think this is after 2020, that is post-COVID. In case if the Fed decides to cut the rates later this evening, then this is going to be the first time after maybe about 4 odd years that the move will come through. My personal experience and my assumption is that everything gets discounted and digested, and then we talk about the core local data points and the resultant of that in terms of market reaction. So 25 basis point, I think discounted 50 basis point. If you get, maybe you might have a spillover of a positive feeling for maybe about a day or two, and then we'll possibly settle down. And possibly then we'll start discussing what the FI flows. And surprisingly, I think for this month the FIs have been positive. Last month they were on the negative side, if I'm not mistaken. At least that is what the data point tells me. So, and more importantly, October onwards, I think we'll possibly talk about earnings also. So I think it's going to be knee-jerk, but 50 basis point might have a spillover positive impact for a day or two.
Right. Let's avoid discussing the US Fed. बेगानी शादी में क्या अब्दुल्ला दीवाना, जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. Let's now focus on our local market. Gaurang, we've had a fantastic time. Ganesh ji has been very kind. Last week, this week, previous 5 sessions, about 475 points on the Nifty, 1200 points on the Bank Nifty. All are very happy. हर जगह पैसा बन रहा है. And between the time you came last and today, we've had the listing of Bajaj housing and the reigniting of the trend on Ola Electric. Premier Energies got listed. You have PN Gadgil making waves. So everything is good for the retail investor. Now in this kind of an environment, what would you suggest? We sort of keep our expectations bear down to the minimum, or do you find merit on the long side trade now?
Well, I for one am a perennial optimistic guy, Shail, and I look at glass half full rather than glass half empty. One observation that I mentioned about our Monday's market outlook, weekly market outlook, is, Shail, that it is very good and healthy to see the kind of fresh paper coming into the market via the IPO route. And more importantly,
Yes.
over the last maybe about 6 months, year and a half, the IPOs market is flooded with a whole host of, including this week, there are going to be a couple of listing, new IPOs opening, subscription is going to be multiple times. So on one side, you have a healthy IPO market with good appetite in terms of subscription. On the other side, flip side, there have been a lot of large bulk deals, block deals that have been happening in the secondary market, and everything gets digested within the first minute of the market opening. The point that I'm trying to drive home is that earlier there was a fear about large liquidity chasing few stocks. Now the situation is that you have plenty of liquidity getting diverted into IPO, secondary, and block deals and bulk deals. In terms of the, well, I think, these businesses are good. I'm not denying absolutely. Probably from a short to medium term point of view, I'm not equipped to give any kind of advice. But look at whatever IPOs you subscribe to. For the love of God, please look at the management, business, and more importantly, the valuation of that particular IPO. If you find everything setting into your thought process, only then go and subscribe for the IPO. And don't have all papers, mapped with the same thumb rule. There are different businesses. Some of them may do good at listing. Some of them may not do so good at listing, but post listing they may good. So one needs to be a little bit careful and cautious in terms of where you are putting your money.
Right. Just let me mark a few top brokerage houses reports that have also come in. We have a report on Bajaj Auto. CLSA came out with a report with an underperform rating and a target price of 7,000. They believe Bajaj and Triumph launched Speed T4 and MY25 Speed 400 an attractive price point, and they believe T4 hits the right spot. They also believe they remain cautious on the increasing competitive intensity though, and growth moderation in the 250cc and the continued pressure in key exports is something that you need to watch out at. Remember, Bajaj Auto has been soaring higher and continuously hitting records after records, now at around 12,000 levels. Another report that's come in is on TCS by Macquarie. There's an outperform call here with a target price of 5,740, and they believe the company is growing faster than Infosys in speeding rebounds. They also expect more cloud migration deals to be bundled between applications and infra services, and they see TCS as a better positioned company than Infosys right now. They also expect TCS to grow faster than Infosys both in FY26 and in FY27 as well. Let's get Gaurang to answer on the IT space particularly. How are you looking at these large cap IT names, and how would you assess the situation right now? Who's placed better?
I think we were placed better, Sakshi. I'll tell you why. ये जुबान घिस गई है, कैसे कैसे आईटी सेक्टर में निवेश कीजिए। ये 2 साल से लगातार हमारे शैल भाई मेरे ख्याल से मेरी बात को सहयोग देंगे। 2 years back, or maybe a little bit more than that, nobody was talking about IT, and everybody was giving you a very sound financial wisdom advice, stay away from IT. We believed on the flip side, we believe that the story is here to stay. It may take a while for numbers to turn around in terms of earnings visibility and for a stable corporate commentary in terms of business outlook. And look where we are today. Your IT index has virtually made a new all-time high. And now suddenly some of the individuals or entities have woken up on the bright side of the bed and realized that no, IT is a good sector to invest in. So we did it 2 years back. So, we are quite comfortably placed. I mean, irrespective of what you heard over the last 2 years, we maintained our positive stance on IT. And our sense, Sakshi, is that this financial year, second half, that is from FY3 onwards, third quarter onwards, you will possibly see a very steady improvement in terms of earnings performance. The run rate is going to pick up. Then, post that, you will see more re-rating coming through. So we are already there, and we are just waiting for those re-ratings to come.
Right, and of course, I second and buttress Gaurang's view on IT. We've been following it for now about 3-4 years, and of course, it's if you're able to buy Infosys and TCS around maybe 15-month lows, then it's a great long-term trade for your portfolio. Sakshi and I have discussed TCS around its buyback when it was announced at 4,500 rupees. It's a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen. Companies that generate so much of cash, even if their main businesses are not doing well, they buy back so much of their shares that remaining shareholders get a higher EPS, a higher PE multiple, and therefore you see stock prices rising. It's a no-brainer on TCS and Infosys. I believe TCS is still the biggest wealth creator on the Nifty ever since it was listed in August 2004, and of course it should be a part of long-term portfolios and should remain a bedrock. There will come a time, Sakshi, maybe somewhere in 2025, 2026, when Indian software exports will exceed Saudi oil exports, and that is an inflection point where the world will look upon the fact that oil is a receding commodity and software is something that you can't do about. So we await that day, and of course we await that day alongside Gaurang. Gaurang, anything in the mid-cap that space, IT space, that you favor?
A couple of names are there, Shail, but I would rather put focus along with mid-cap, even a small cap and a new entrant, Tata Technologies. We had given a subscribe to this IPO, I think it was about 6-8 months back, correct me if I'm wrong. 485 was the floor on the higher side. Stock made a high of 1400 post listing and then consolidating between 1000 and 1100. I think it's a great story. You need to be patient with the IT stocks. You can't be expecting 3 months, 6 months phenomenal return, Shell. So Tata Technologies, KPIT Tech and Tata Elxsi are from the smaller universe. From the mid-cap universe, Coforge, L&T Tech, LTI Mindtree, Persistent Systems, Science Limited, and of course the large cap names that you mentioned, TCS, Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, Infosys.
Okay, got it. Oil marketing companies and the upstream companies is something that I wanted to discuss with you as well, Gaurang, and this is with respect to the government reducing the windfall tax to zero. How should one be really placed on the oil and gas as a whole?
I think constructive on both sides, exploration and oil marketing companies. But the situation is a little bit tricky, Sakshi. In case of falling crude oil prices, you have advantage oil marketing companies. And in case of, on the other side, exploration companies, you have a disadvantage, you have a negative. But I think this is, and more importantly, I think there was an article, I think this week or last week, wherein KG D6 basing, there was a find of natural reserve of crude oil and gas, if I'm not mistaken. So these kind of gas finds and crude oil finds on the natural side, both onshore, offshore, and ultra deep waters, is going to keep the oil exploration companies buzzing. We remain positive on both ONGC, GAIL from the exploration side, and all the three oil marketing companies, HPCL, BPCL, and IOC. And all of them are government-owned companies, so by default, you will get a good dividend payout.
Absolutely. ONGC, ladies and gentlemen, is the top loser in the energy space in the month of September, down 11%. And if you see the valuation metric on ONGC, I'll just mention the market capitalization along with the profit number, and it's breathtaking. Let me just get that for you in a while. But wonderful prices that are upon us. I think the all-time high was somewhere like 330, and the stock is now going against the wind, something that probably will change direction today. 8:59, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for pre-open prices to be upon us. It's a great day, probably a turning point in global equities when the US Federal Reserve late night today will be changing its stance on interest rates. So a cut there will be watched and looked forward to, and subsequent cuts will be looked forward to across the board. And this is something that is a very welcome change. And 93-point uptick on the Nifty. 25,500 is with us, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's Gaurang's presence that the Nifty is saluting to. Let's look at how prices are moving. It's a 5% uptick on HDFC Bank. How I wish we could close it here. 60 rupees higher, 1729. Remember, today is also the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. This is unlikely to last, and it hasn't. Now just up 22. Okay, what else is moving? You have a green tick on Tata Motors, 3 rupees higher. You have the top three index heavyweights slipping in the red. Reliance, 19 rupees lower, now 14 rupees lower, 29.30. ICICI Bank, 6 rupees lower, 12.62. Remember, ICICI Bank is at a record high. It sort of mastered the Nifty's, Bank Nifty's 5-day rally, so nothing to be worried about. Infosys, 12 rupees lower, 19.40. What is TCS doing? Flat at 45.05. This is something that we are looking forward to. Bajaj Finance, 94 rupees higher, 94.60. Bajaj Finserv, flat at about 18.48. A very quick look into NSE 500, then we'll get back to Gaurang. 5% high on Gillette India, 91.50. This company, along with its parent Procter & Gamble Health and Hygiene, has its analyst on call beyond 3:30 p.m. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Gujarat State Petronet, I'll have to check this one out, showing a 15% uptick, 465. Nothing much to talk about here. Usual suspects. I'd like to mark Shobha Developers, 2.7% higher, 1867. Let's look at the FNO space. Okay, RECL Limited. There is news that its renewables portfolio will expand. Renewables financing portfolio will expand to 10 lakh crore rupees over time from 3 lakh crores now, 1.5% higher, 553. This is also a reversal candidate. Apollo Hospitals, 0.5% higher. ONGC, yes, this is something to be looked forward to, 1.3% higher, 298.50. We'll wait for prices to settle. Nifty is flat, down 7 points. Nothing much to talk about. It's going to be a flat day. To you, Gaurang, how about Bajaj Housing. Two upper circuits, 10% each. How do you see this stock, this new kid on town? I was just seeing the market cap comparison. Top 8 housing companies have a combined market cap of 1,42,000 crores. Bajaj Housing on its own has 1,51,000 crores. Is this the new HDFC that we've been waiting for?
I've been hearing about this new HDFC, Bajaj Housing Finance, right from the time before the IP was going to hit the street. And so I think, look, HDFC had to prove itself in terms of the years of performance, HDFC Limited or HDFC Bank. And for Bajaj Housing Finance to do that, given the kind of competition that is there in the HFC segment, both in terms of listed entity and unlisted entities, I think it's going to be a little bit challenging. Having said that, very, very convinced in terms of what the management said in terms of the business growth prospect at a rate of 12 to 15% per annum. I think, and if that is going to get delivered, Shell, then that will translate into earnings visibility also, without doubt. But the problem is whether you will have the courage to go and buy Bajaj Housing Finance at maybe 180 or 200 rupees. My common sense tells me that let the euphoria settle down and then take a call. Because 70 rupees was the higher end of the floor and the stock has multiplied to a great extent. It has been just 2 or 3 days of the listing, if I'm not mistaken. So I think, one thing that I've learned in the stock market, Shell, is that never be in a hurry to invest into the market or never chase the stock. Use your rationale and wisdom and then possibly take a call.
Absolutely. So, Gaurang, is there also frenzy on Ola Electric as well? Brokerage houses are now joining the bandwagon, some Bank of America, Goldman Sachs initiating now the coverage with 40% upside. How are you really looking at it right now, and what would you advise, average retail investor who've been looking at an opportunity to now take an entry?
Sakshi, I get surprised by some of these reports. I mean, 1,500 crore loss on the balance sheet. 40% upside on what basis? And I think I heard you also mentioned about a new electric bike getting launched in the market. Not from Ola, but from somewhere else.
Ratan India Enterprises.
And the competition is going to be so high, sir. And more importantly, Ola's bike is going to be available next year post Diwali, if I'm not mistaken, if you do the booking today. In the next possibly about 14 months, you are going to have huge competition. And there are also, reports in the social media and newspaper that people have set their Ola scooter on fire because of the absolutely dissatisfied customer service. I think one place the showroom was set on fire. That is what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you have a lot of issues. It's not like it's going to be easy. For Ola Electric, like I mentioned earlier also when the IP was about to hit, we had given a subscriber recommendation with a 2.5, 3 year plus time horizon. And it's going to be very, very challenging, Sakshi, for the management to overcome the loss, come into black and then come into the blue or green trajectory. So these reports, I would possibly take it with a pinch of salt. For me, it is going to be important what the numbers tell me, period.
I think that's classical value investing for you. जब तक आपको actual numbers ना देखें, जब तक 8-10 क्वार्टर का आपके पास performance ना हो, there is no point sticking your neck out and getting into the counter amid all the hype. We've seen many such debacles happen over the past, and it's always best to be late in the trend and start following it rather than be on the front line and start to make a trend. That's very, very painful over time, and a lot of investors have burnt their fingers. The Nifty is now 19 points lower. Let's look at how markets will behave, and this is as good a time as any to welcome our dear friend Mr. Mitesh Panchal at Business Today. Namaste Mitesh ji, a very warm welcome. How do you see the life of Nifty beyond 25,400. Today is a major event. I'm sure you'll stay out. But what now?
Good morning, Shalji. Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning to the panelist. The voice is clear. The message is clear. The market here on is all about stock specific and sector specific. So I think there is no need to look at the indices to a greater extent. Reason being is this, that unless and until if the indices breaks the major support, then only one can look at the fact that whether it's a trend reversal or a mild correction. So, Shailji, what we are looking at is 25,000 on the downside as far as Nifty is concerned and 25,800 on the upside. This is basically a range in which probably Nifty will trade in the next 6 to 8 months. But yes, stock specific and sector specific, there are many opportunities which one should eye at.
Right. A very good morning to you, Mitesh ji, as well. Okay, tell us, where are you going to be looking for, stock-specific action today? It's going to be tricky on the index level because of the US Fed, rate cut expectations coming in today. But how about stock-specific action? Where would you place your bets?
I think retail space. Good morning, Sakshi. I think retail space is buzzing. One of the counter where we are bullish since last 15-20 days is V2 retail. If you look at the stock has actually gained around 20% in last 1 month or so. And now the stock is comfortably trading above its immediate resistance level of 1120. Stock is trading at 1157. So we are of the view that the trend will continue. On the lower side, 1100 is a very good support. So you can start accumulating the stock. On the upside, what we are looking at is around 1250 to 1300. Second stock which we like as of now is Swan Energy. If you look at the chart pattern of Swan Energy, above 580, stock has given a very strong confirmation both on monthly and weekly chart, and now stock is ready for entering into the new trend range. So in the Swan Energy, one can go long with a stop of 570 for the potential target of 650 and 680.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get Mitesh on ONGC. I have the numbers in front of me. Mitesh, two possible developments which might help ONGC on the long side. Crude oil now above $74 a barrel from about 65 to 62 depending upon what vintage you check over the last 4 days. And of course, this windfall tax being shuttered down to zero. What are the charts of ONGC telling you? Is this a time to get back into the counter?
Exactly. I think you have discussed, Sailji, the counter at the right time. In the recent past, stock has formed a double top first on 1st of August 2024 at 344.60, followed by 13th of August where the high is 344.50. So after forming a double top, stock has witnessed a sharp correction. And since last 4 days in particular, if you look at the chart pattern, after forming its intermediate low at 283 on 11th of September, stock is not ready to violate that low and is now moving in a very narrow range. We are of the view that 297 is an intermediate hurdle. Once 297 is crossed on an hourly chart, one can go long into the stock, and sooner than later we will see stock trading above 300. So our ultimate target is 328. But here is the condition. One should wait as long as the stock is trading below 297, it's not a buy. Once the stock starts trading above 297 and close on an hourly chart above 297, with a stop of 283, it's a buy above 297 for a potential target of 328.
Okay, if there is one stock that you can buy and forget in your portfolio, it's ONGC. Market capitalization is 3,70,000 crore rupees. Revenue over the last 12 months is 6,45,000 crores. So this is available at half 0.5 market cap to sales. Earnings have been 44,000 crore rupees in the last 12 trailing months, and of course it is still available at a dividend yield of 4%, ladies and gentlemen. For the last 10 years the stock has done nothing. Like I said, if you have a long-term horizon on any Indian stock or any Indian market, ONGC is something that should be a part of your core portfolio. Sakshi, what are you looking at?
Well, a whole host of stocks. Let's look at Seagal India first. Remember, I pointed out the news flow that NHAI has designated the company as L1 bidder for the Ayodhya bypass, and you can actually see a 6.5% momentum on this stock as well. Let's look at REC2 after this. Once the stock prices that they're in front of you. REC is also signed that non-binding financial commitment to expand its renewables loan portfolio, and you see a 2% uptick on this one as well. Let's also look at Vakrangi. It's signed a deal with the Star Health to start selling some insurance, and therefore you see a 2% uptick on that one. And let's also look at SKF India. The board has decided to initiate separate listing of its automotive business on the Nasdaq Stockholm. So let's look at that too. That's also opening about 3% higher in trade today. Let's look at Mankind Pharma, another one that is in the news flow, and there you see it also buzzing in trade, with the board now looking at some fundraise opportunities going forward, just about 0.3% higher in trade. Torrent Power has got a letter of intent from Maharashtra Discom, and therefore you see a 3.4% uptick on this stock as well. That is also buzzing in the early trading session. I wanted to pull up GMR Airports as well to see how that one is also trading. There's a Jefferies report with a buy rating and 106 target price on GMR, just about a 0.3% uptake on this. There's also United Breweries that could be in focus today. Kotak Institutional Equities came out with an ad rating and 2050 kind of a target price as well. Let's get Gaurang to share with us his thought process as far as the entire Alco-Bev space is concerned. Gaurang, here we have actually started to see a lot of traction of late, be it stocks like Globus Spirits, Radico Khaitan. The entire space seems to be in the thickest of action. More and more players are now entering the premium liquor space as well. How would you really look at this space, and is this something for the consideration for retail investors too?
Well, Sakshi, so I was quite pleased to read that some of the single malt Indian whiskies have made it to the world best single malts, and they have won some awards also. It's very heartening to see these kind of news flows. Consumption is not a problem in India, barring certain states where there is a ban. But even the ban being in place, the availability is not a big problem if you are able to tackle the issues. We have a coverage on United Beverages, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right. Along with that, I think there are a lot of brands which cater to the entry level and mid segment, and that is the large contributor to the top line number. Competition in terms of what we used to have earlier in form of foreign brands, IMFL has taken over, and I think that's no more an issue. That IMFL is Indian made foreign liquor. So this sector looks quite exciting, and every time around election, I don't want to say directly, but indirectly you see a lot of sales picking up, and even otherwise. So आप चाहे खुशी में हो या गम में हो, जाम का प्याला तो भरा रहता है.
क्या बात है. And this comes from a person who's an absolute teetotaler. We will discuss this a little later in great detail, but the markets are upon us, and you have Nifty on the back foot, just 22 points lower, 25,393. It's the Bank Nifty's weekly expiry, so quiet trade expected there, flat as flat can be, 52,187. There is a downtake on the Nifty IT index. I find that a little surprising. Nevertheless, 1.5% lower, 42,741. Okay, now let's look at what the stocks are doing, and I have in front of me Bajaj Finance, 49 rupees higher, 74.15. Hindustan Unilever, 16 rupees higher, 28.89. The market is likely going defensive. Let's look at what the index heavyweights are doing. I have in front of me Reliance, 2 rupees higher, flat, 29.47. How about HDFC Bank, 6 rupees higher, 16.74. And how about Infosys? Both Infosys and TCS are showing signs of extreme profit booking. 30 rupees lower on Infosys 1921, and TCS 70 rupees lower at 4436. This is what the index heavyweights are doing. Very quickly, we look at Bajaj Housing. This is the newest listed baby. Now 3.6% lower, bit of profit booking happening after two successive 10% circuits on Tuesday and Monday, and a phenomenal 114% uptick on its listing day. 176 for you. Already 678 crores worth of shares have been traded. RECL, this is a stock to watch. It will be the first stock that Mitesh will comment on. 560 rupees, 2.8% higher, amongst the top traded as far as prices are concerned. And Power Finance Corporation 2.3% higher, 493. Torrent Power, Sakshi mentioned this as the L1 bidder, 1851, 4% higher. Bombay Stock Exchange, nobody is stopping this, 4% higher at 3447, fresh high. Seagull, this is the construction company that Sakshi just marked. You have a 4.7% uptick on 395. This is how markets have opened. Very quickly to you, Mitesh, REC and PFC, has the turn started for the better? Is this a swing trade in the making on the long side?
Yes, let's wait for an hour or so, Shailji. The first hour is very crucial because if you look at the chart pattern of both the stocks are in a classical distribution pattern, and there is no stopping. Even yesterday, the bar is so high that it has break its immediate support of close to 553. So let us not jump into the initial excitement of the stocks. Let us wait for the next 1 hour. Probably next 1 hour will tell you where exactly is the high and low, and probably then based on the weekly chart and monthly chart support and resistance, we can come to know that is it a reversal or not. So I'll wait for the next 1 hour and then take the call.
Okay, the Nifty is absolutely flat, 0.1% lower, 25,391 right now. Half of the sectors have actually slipped into the red. It's FMCG, realty, financial services, media, oil and gas spaces that are still hoping to continue to remain in the green. About 0.2% higher in trade for these indices. The rest of those places have actually slipped. Shriram Finance now moving higher as the top mover on the Nifty, 1.5% higher. You have Hero MotoCorp that's also driving fast, 1.3% up. Bajaj Finance, Britannia, NTPC, ITC. So FMCG clearly seems to be gaining ground as of now. In the FNO space, of course, apart from REC and PFC, you also have Bandhan Bank now further surging in trade. You also have MCX, so that's an interesting one also that's pulling up, apart from some of those housing finance names that are further surging like Canfin and LIC Housing as well. But let's get you to talk about Bandhan Bank, Mitesh, and tell us, is this a turning point also for Bandhan?
So as far as Bandhan Bank is concerned, the hourly chart needs to be observed, and what we are looking at is a level about 213, 213. So if I'm getting a close about 213 either on 15-minute chart, half an hour chart, or an hourly chart, definitely it's a buy. It's going to be a trend reversal in that case, and 280 is the stop where you can put. And probably in the next 1 week, this is a beautiful swing trade. If it happens about 230, then you expect 220 and 230 in the next 2 days only.
I'll mark Bajaj Housing again. It was a 3% downtick. Now it's back up in the green and 1% higher at 183. Fresh high. No chart check. There's nothing to be done here. Ola Electric 3% higher, 121. To you, Mitesh, Bombay Stock Exchange, 3500. This is the glow, actually the back glow of the NSE IPO that is now getting finalized. Are we chasing this momentum at 3500 rupees or are we staying away?
See, if you look at the chart of the BSE, I mean, yesterday was a very big candle, and for the very first time, after forming its high at around 302,064 for the date of 24th of April 2024, stock has made an attempt to cross this. It's a very big volume. So yes, this I would like to chase, and probably the target which can be achieved in short period of time is around 3,800, 3,900. So yes, with a stop of around 3,100, this is the momentum which one should chase.
Okay, and BSE also happens to be the top traded counter on the NSE now. 170 crores worth of transactions done on the NSE 500. I must clarify that. The entire AMC broker space is doing well, and because Gaurang is here, let me see what Geojit is doing. I always like to put him on the back foot on this one. Let me just see what Geojit is doing. Geojit
is 1% higher
and
at 157.
Really. Gaurang, ESOP this time, are you buying something on Pali Hill or Malabar Hill?
Shail, I'm not going to get tempted to answer that. That will lead to a lot of complex situation for me. We are only here to, guide people through the financial wisdom path and make them sound investors. Rest, I leave it to well-wishers like you, Sakshi, and the rest of the people who are our clients associated with us. So our job is to do the job. Rest is with the Lord Almighty.
Okay, fair point. This is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Bajaj Housing Finance now 2.5% higher, 186. Ola is 5% higher now, 123.56. Mitesh, to you, Ola, what do you do?
Yeah, since last 2 days the momentum is back, so definitely I will be a buyer here. The stop of 115. Where is the stop? We should chase this momentum definitely for a target of 140 and 160.
Okay, got it. The other stock that's buzzing in FNO space is MCX also. Mitesh, would you be kind to also comment on this one? How are you looking at the momentum build up, and is this momentum here to stay?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the chart pattern of MCX, since last few trading sessions, it is clearly visible both on the hourly chart and the daily chart that somehow the momentum is coming back with the volume. So definitely I am a buyer at the current level. 5400 is where the stop is. 6200, 6300 is what you're looking at probably in the next 7 to 10 trading sessions.
Okay, got it. Let's get Gaurang to also address the FMCG space as a whole. We are seeing a whole host of stocks climb up in the Nifty right now. Britannia, ITC, Nestle, all of them are abuzz with some gains coming in. Right ahead of the festive season, the consumption space is going to be in thick limelight. Gaurang, is FMCG going to be the better place where one should be looking at increasing positions?
My thought process is possibly yes, Sakshi, and otherwise also I think these stocks are buzzing, but during festivities the consumption and the appetite is a little bit at an elevated level. So you will see highlighted activity over here in terms of consumption patterns are concerned. And I think the news flow on the various oil derivatives that we had from the government, possibly that may have already the news is digested, the reaction has already been there. So likes of HUL, ITC, Tata Consumer, Marico, Dabur, Britannia and Nestle. And these names are always the most, favored names in terms of the product offering that they have.
Markets are flat. There is a heavy profit booking on the IT index, 1.5% lower. And surprise, it's Nifty Bank that is on its weekly expiry day clicking into gains, 140 points higher. Is this a sign of how the domestic market is interpreting a rate cut on Wall Street, which might also be followed by a rate cut on the Indian geography? Remember, in April 2023, I'll request the PCR to fire a long-term chart of the Nifty, maybe 2 years in the making. In April 2023, the Reserve Bank of India said that it will pause its cycle of rate increases, and on that particular day, the Nifty was somewhere in the vicinity of 17,500. It triggered a bull run, especially on auto stocks, because now people knew that the only thing that will happen on EMIs for autos and real estate companies would be that they would go down. From then on, from 17,500, the Nifty is now at 25,400. So that's the rally that has happened, and now you will have another momentum that is coming in on the downside as far as rate cuts are concerned. Across the board, it's a party that's happening. Let's look at what the auto stocks are doing as far as prices are concerned. In particular, I'd like to watch Maruti. I believe it's above 1200, and of course Hero Motors. Coming to you, Gaurang, and our conversation is back on two-wheelers. In terms of valuation, how would you look at Hero Motors versus Bajaj or even TCS?
So honestly, Shail, I'll possibly give an equal weightage because I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Which are the two companies?
Hero Motors versus Bajaj Auto and TVS in terms of valuations.
So I'll give equal weightage to all three because we have coverage on all three, including our favorite stock, Eicher Motors, Royal Enfield motorcycles. So, for example, if you have to put a question to me, if I had 100 rupees, I would break it up in 4 equal parts, 25, 25, 25, 25, and I'll invest in all.
Okay. Got it.
Mitesh, to you, just one question, Sakshi. Mitesh, to you, Hero Motors, a change in digit, now above 6,000, and this has not been as good a stock when it comes to the rally that we've seen on Bajaj and TVS Motors. Hero Motor on an year-to-date basis is up 46%, Bajaj is up 74%, and TVS Motors is up 38%. Your view on Hero Motors?
Such kind of a chart pattern when they are charted, when the stock is trading in an uncharted territory that is an all-time high, the best strategy which we have discussed over a period of time is a trailing stop loss. So over here you trail it as long as the rally is there, as long as the party is that you continue be with the stock, have a trail. As of now, the trail which we are using is 5750. So 5750 is our stop, and we will keep upgrading our stop and continue with the rally. Probably, we don't know on the upside whether it will stop at 72,000 or probably a magical figure of 10,000 like Bajaj Auto going forward. But yeah, trailing stop loss is the only method to work with this kind of a stock.
Okay. I wanted to bring in Gaurang into the conversation, and we haven't discussed defense even once. So I'll bring up Mazagon Dock in front and ask you, Gaurang, to help our viewers really understand this. The shares are in focus because it is going to be trading ex-dividend tomorrow, and therefore today is the last day's opportunity for anyone looking to buy Mazagon for the dividend benefit right there at 41.88 after it has climbed down from those peaks that we have seen across the industry. That was, how would you look at Mazagon?
Nothing has changed for me as far as the defense sector is concerned, Sakshi. I still maintain that positive view. And the sector overall looks very promising to me. Dividends will come and go. It depends upon the situation in terms of the cash surplus on balance sheet and the wisdom of the board of directors in which way they want to use it. Whether they want to invest somewhere else into some other vertical, or whether they want to reward the shareholders in terms of dividends. So it's absolutely up to the management, and nothing has changed. Actually, I think they will continue to get orders. All these defense names, whether it is Mazagon Dock, Garden Reach, Cochin Shipyard, Bharat Dynamics, Hindustan Aeronautics, BEML, BEL, or maybe some private players, they will continue to get orders, and my sense is that there is going to be further list of prohibited items which will be announced from the Ministry of Defence, which will have an added advantage to Make in India theme that the government has unfolded.
Hmm. 9:31, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to mark two stocks. I'll request Mitesh's attention on CDSL. Now it's firmly in the uptrend, mirroring its sister company BSE. Remember, BSE has a 15% stake in CDSL, is amongst, if not the largest holder, definitely among the largest. 15, 17, 4% higher. Remember, this is the post 1:1 bonus. So the stock is now almost at 3020. Your price, your view on CDSL, Mitesh?
Shailji, after forming its recent high at 1,664, stock witnessed a steep correction and form a bottom in the range of 1300 to 1400. We are of the view that the current bottom, which it has formed on 11th of September 2024, precisely at 1348, is the stop, and one should chase this rally. Sooner than later, stock will again enter into a new trading range and hit a new all-time high. So yeah, with a stop of 1348, it's a clear-cut buy.
Yes, the all-time high, as Mitesh ji has mentioned, is 1620. We saw this on 26th of October, 26th of August. From then on, there was a nice correction. Remember, this is the bonus adjustment in terms of price that has happened, and you need to look at it in the light that you have a very strong move coming in on Bombay Stock Exchange. What else is buzzing? I'd just like to mark a couple of all-time highs in a market that is receding. So Hero Motors in the auto space is doing very good. This is another one that has moved in. Mitesh, for you, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, fresh high 817, 6% higher, all from your stable today. Gaurang, we are discussing BSE, CDSL, Geojit, you won't let us discuss, but we can certainly discuss Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Mitesh ji, to you.
So if you look at the entire broking space, after witnessing a mild correction, Shailji, all the stocks are now here to hit for an all-time high, right? So again, in the same category, Motilal Oswal is definitely a good bet. But if you look at from the risk-reward viewpoint, Angel One is looking very promising, because Angel One has corrected very sharply from its all-time high of 3824, which it hits on 12th of January 2024. So essentially, in the first 9 months of this calendar year, the stock has not performed. Recently, it has formed a very strong bottom in the price range of 2000. The stock refused to trade below 2000, and now slowly and gradually stock is building base. So we are of the view that within this space, if somebody wanted to aggressively build the position by looking at two parameters, first is the time and second is the risk reward, Angel should and must be a preferred bet.
Okay, got it. Well, Gaurang, before we let you go, one key sector that is now on your top radar for the last half of the fiscal year, where would you incrementally be putting all the fresh funds that are pouring in your stable?
So, Sakshi, honestly, 6 months is fairly a short period, so I won't possibly look at that kind of a short time horizon. But in case if I have time by my side and I'm not constrained by limitation of time, then I think one particular area which is corrected over the last couple of weeks or days is the public sector banks. And that is thanks to the sell side reports that have been hitting the street on and off. So I would say that for us nothing has changed as far as the public sector banks are concerned. Credit growth is definitely going to come through with the kind of demand that we anticipate. State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, PNB, Indian Bank. These would be the few names in terms of risk reward and long term investment.
Fair enough. We will be keeping an eye out on the PSU banks as well. Well, great to have you as always, Gaurang, and you always bring a zing to our show. So thank you so much for coming week on week, helping our viewers understand that strategy in the markets and that calm voice despite all the brokerage houses noise that continues to worry all the investors. So we need that. Thank you so much for being with us on the show.
Thank you, Shail. Thank you, Sakshi. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mitesh ji, PSU banks is something that Gaurang highlighted. How are you going to be looking at the story unfold here? Do you think the last series underperformance will turn into an outperformer sooner or later?
Actually, recently I met a guy and he told me a beautiful thing मितेश जी, जो हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं उस हिसाब से मार्केट नहीं चलता। मार्केट
जी
जैसे चलता है उस हिसाब से हमको एक्सपेक्टेशन रखना पड़ता है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली, एज यू नो, वी आर वेरी बुलिश ऑन PSU बैंक, बट समहाउ द एंटायर स्पेस इज टेस्टिंग आवर पेशेंस. We think that PSU bank should and must trade about 20 to 30% higher from the current level before a month, but somehow they are forming a lower top, lower bottom formation. The preferred pick is Bank of Baroda, PNB, followed by Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank. But somehow the space is not getting the kind of momentum which it should be. So, finger crossed, let's wait and watch. We are bullish technically, but somehow we need more push towards this bank to ensure that the sustainable up move will come. And probably, again, the talk of the town will be the PSU bank sooner than later.
Yes, actually, Sakshi, I think the entire PSU space, all the 88 companies that we track have fallen off the radar as far as traders and investors are concerned. There is a time correction and a price correction happening, and just as there is this old Chinese saying that this too shall pass, and this too shall pass. We will have better days ahead in all the PSU banks for a very simple reason. You have a rate cut ahead, and a rate cut ahead essentially means that credit offtake will improve. This is a time correction. Remember, Bank of Baroda we've been tracking from 80 rupees to 230. Punjab National Bank we've been tracking from 35 rupees to 120. We've been tracking Canara Bank. This is a 5-for-1 split. So from 150 to almost 400, 500 we've been tracking it. This is all a part of life. Stocks rest and newer people come in, older investors book out, but the rally continues. Good times are here. As long as you don't see this how should I say, balance sheets being unclean again. Remember, we have 5-6 months of the election fervor from 1st of January to 4th or 5th of June. So there wasn't any activity in the market. Therefore, you see this quiet trade on PSUs, and I'm sure they will improve for the better. But I think there is a clean out happening for all short sellers on Bank Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. 0.4% higher on weekly expiry day, 52,400 for you. At a time when ICICI Bank is clicking, at a time when HDFC Bank is clicking, and you have a strong move coming on to Indus Bank as well. Very, very strong rally on the banking space. Your view, Mitesh ji, on ICICI Bank and any other favorite that you would have in the banking space in the private sector?
I think definitely ICICI is where I will definitely will have a buy recommendation. 1250 should be your stop. On the upside, probably 1300, 1320 should be your target. And Sharji, as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, what all I can say is that today we have witnessed a very strong buy side trade formation on our system on 15 minutes chart. So probably today, as per the cash level, which is trading at 52,398, we will see expiry above 52,500, which will set a new target for this indices. And all the technical guys will be bullish about this level. So probably we will see today Bank Nifty closing above 52,500 as an expiry day.
Okay, let's see what else is buzzing in the broader market space. I'll just talk about a few stocks that I'm spotting right there. Pondy Oxides is up by 5%. Pondy Oxides and Chemicals. Alkyl Amines and Chemicals is up by 8.5% higher in trade. Biofuel Chemicals is also buzzing in trade in the F&O in the broader market space, and Chambal Fertilizers and Chemicals is the top mover as far as the stock within the F&O space is moving. I think it's 3% higher in trade now. Let's get Mitesh ji into the conversation to discuss about the chemical space as a whole. How would you really look at some such stocks which are buzzing, Mitesh ji, within the chemical space? Do you have any favorites here which are on your radar?
As you know, Sakshi, we have released a special report on the pesticide and the specialty chemicals. So there are three stocks which we are looking at: Balaji Amines, Previous Specialty, and Punjab Chemical. Apart from that, I think fertilizer space is looking very interesting. And within that, I think both Coromandel and Chambal is looking very interesting from weekly and monthly perspective. So in a market where there is no clue, I think these are the sectors which are offering a clear-cut opportunities to go long.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as the chemicals and the fertilizer space is going, and fertilizer is definitely looking positive. Midesh writes there. From the PSU space, let me pull up a few stocks. How are you looking at Coal India at the current moment, Mitesh ji? 492 right now, about a percent higher in trade on Coal India.
As a disclaimer on the daily chart, before 2 days, the stock has qualified as a buy. So you have picked up the right stock. So we have recommended to our clients. So as a disclaimer, our client are holding a buy sector information. I don't have any personal holding in the stock. So 485 is what we were looking for, and stock has successfully crossed that and sustained above that. So Sakshi now at 492, again it's a buy. We have recommended it since 485 with a stop of 470. So you can use a stop of 470, which will probably be a bit deeper from the current level, but the sustainability of the trend will continue going forward. And what we are looking at is 550, 580 in next 1 month. So there is no surprise, Sakshi, that in the next few days, probably Coal India will be top of the town.
Okay, Coal India will be the talk of the town, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now spend some time on some other stocks that are buzzing. Samvardhana Motherson, this is a stock now up about 1.5%. The company is trying to raise funds via, I think it's a debt raise of 6,500 crore rupees. I'll again recheck the number, but something that needs to be watched. Canfin Homes, 1.2% higher, 892, and of course you have a strong move coming into ICICI Pru Life Insurance, 758, 1% higher. Remember, while there is a mild green tick in the market, the Nifty is back in the green, about 12 points higher, driven primarily by banks, but it's a quiet trade. I just want to see what the advanced decline ratio is. You have 1184 stocks in the green, 1050 stocks in the red, so even Stevens more or less to say. It's a nice light green shade across the Lal Street. We track 19 indices for you, 15 are in the green, led by the financial services index, 0.6% higher, and the auto theme, 0.5% higher on the auto index, 26,039. So it's the rate cut cycle that is doing rounds in the market. Private banks going full steam ahead, and you have autos of all sorts. I'll request Mitesh ji to take a look at escorts. This is now moving up for the 8th day in a row. Let me just check this number before I comment. Yes, it's up for the 8th day in a row. All-time high was 4,400 somewhere in June of 2024. Mitesh ji, what are the charts telling you on escorts?
So Escort, the stock has recently formed its bottom on 9th of September 2024 at 3,684. And as you rightly said, after that, there is no looking back. So the stock has formed higher bottom formation post that. Critical level to watch is 3920. That is the recent high, which it has hit on 26th of August 2024. So once the stock close about 3920 on a daily basis, probably this is the stock which one should look for. And the next target, potentially from there, would be around 4,200.
Okay, Mitesh ji, how about the commodity space as a whole? You know, the metals and the cement pack as well. How would you really look at some such spaces, construction, companies, related companies? What is really looking good on that front?
So I think the only basket which stand out, and that too within that basket few stocks, is the realty. I think DLF is one where one should look at. Apart from that, I don't think so there is any meaningful reversal with respect to the steel, with respect to the cement, with respect to any ancillary industry belonging to this space. Because even if you look at the performance of Astral, technically, the stock is now stiff resistance in the near future, and you see sell-on rallies on that stock as well. So probably within the entire space, what is looking promising is reality, and within the reality also, you need to be very selective in choosing. So yes, DLF is what we are looking at.
Okay. DLF is what you're looking at in the real estate space, although it's absolutely flattish on the index level right now. Some of the constituents that are buzzing are Suntech, Macrotech, Brigade, Godrej Properties and Sobha. Those are the counters that are also in thick trade within the real estate space. Media stocks are now zooming ahead, 0.7% higher. You have the financial services space that definitely is the highlight of the session right now. Some of the auto stocks, banking names that are pulling up as well in the markets. Mitesh ji, some weeks back, it was all about the insurance names that were pulling up in trade. Has the momentum dwindled now? What would you suggest to the retail investors as far as the, insurance basket is concerned?
Sakshi, I would like to add one more basket with respect to insurance, and that is the entire AMC space as well.
Yeah,
so if you look at the both AMC and insurance, it is quite kind of disappointing in the sense that it is not picking up the space. So these kind of stocks are losing momentum at the higher level, and again the problem is that sustainably the trend. So probably on an hourly chart or a daily chart, you may see an excitement, and you may see that the pattern is forming kind of a pattern which allow you to buy, but I don't think so. It's again in a sustainable mode. So completely avoid these two spaces as of now. If you are sitting with a good gain, advisable to book at this space, because as I said, Sakshi, there are many counters within the entire mid cap and small cap space which are looking very promising from the longer term perspective. Here, the definition of a longer term technically is 9 to 12 months.
Okay, there is this index, the Nifty IT index. I'd like to mark, ladies and gentlemen. We have a 2.5% cut on the Nifty IT index, and these needs to be put into perspective. A very sharp 1100 point downtick. Now it's testing the 21-day EMA. This is a sell-off or maybe profit booking that's happening ahead of the Wall Street event tonight, and it needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, because if you see the last 3-month performance on the Nifty IT index, it is up 22% despite this 2% cut today, and is the best performing index on a quarter basis, on a 3-month basis. The next best performing is the Nifty Mid Cap Select, which is up just 11%. So please keep this logic in mind when you see the sharp downturn. My apologies, the next best is the Pharma Index, still up 70% over the last 3 months. But just a bit of a perspective as to why you see this very sharp fallout that's happening on IT ahead of the main event. What are the top losers today? Emphasis 5% lower, Oracle Finance 3.8% lower, Persistent and Tech Mahindra have cut back by 3%, L&T Mindtree and Wipro down 2.5% each. The lone stock in the F&O IT space that is up is MCX, and it's not an IT stock, so that's a bit of a sectoral issue that has happened, but this is how it is. Banks are taking it away. Now 275 points higher on the Nifty Bank on its weekly expiry. So the rally in the last 5 days on Nifty Bank alone is now about 1475 points, which is almost 3%. All shorts are being cleared out. If there is a rate cut tonight on Wall Street, you will see private sector banks doing a nice happy jig tomorrow morning. Mitesh ji, anything that catches your attention now?
Two stocks, first is Apollo Hospital. That is what is now buzzing, and probably there are strong chances that today stock will gain more than 2%. Second is TVS Motor. TVS Motor is also qualified on the hourly on the half an hour chart. So yes, TVS Motor and Apollo Hospital is what I'm looking at.
Okay. Is there anything that you spot as a trend, Mitesh ji, across the footwear stocks or maybe the leather stocks? Liberty Shoes and Mirza International both are zooming ahead in the broader market space. Is there something to see beyond what we are looking at?
Not exactly, because the big boys is disappointing. If you look at the performance of a Bata India on a technical chart, I mean, that is not really surprising. So I think, yeah, in this kind of a mid-cap space within this sector, there might be momentum, but I don't think so that is sustainable, Sakshi. One thing which is very clear is that right now market is offering a very tricky opportunities, and you need to be extremely selective. If
Yes.
not, then you can hold that stock for the next 3 years and you will not get the buy price back on the table. So be very selective, not to be in a hurry. I mean, you wait for some time, opportunities will come on the surface, not an issue. But this is the time which will test both your intelligence and patience. As Shailji has rightly said, in many of the stocks, you are seeing, you are witnessing both the price and time correction. And that is really very frustrating.
Absolutely. So that's a point well taken. I hope viewers, you pay heed in this kind of a market setup. It is very, very important to you to be careful in selection of which are the stocks that you're looking at. There are some bounces that could not be sustainable as well. So be very careful and have a long-term time frame. And that's what Mitesh is advising at this point in time. No place for adventure at these levels in the markets right now. Mitesh ji, auto space for you, picking up pace now. 0.5% higher. Hero Moto is now 2.6% up. It's the top mover on the Nifty. We also have M&M now pulling up almost 1% up. Maruti, TVS Motors, Eicher, Tata Motors, across the board, and even the ancillaries are now pulling up. Auto basket for you, what would you really keep your focus on?
One stock on in, that is Maruti. I think by the kind of momentum which auto space is witnessing, Sakshi, the stock should trade above 15,000, but it is not. So again, it is going through both the time and the price correction. And as I said, in certain cases like what we are witnessing right now, those stocks which will deliver return, they will deliver phenomenally. This is beyond our imagination. Like for an example, Hero MotoCorp. I mean, it is unfair to assume before a month that the stock will cross 6,000 level or so, right? So I think now, Sakshi, what the market is telling us is that where there are gains, probably the gains are phenomenal and the opportunities are very, it is very hard to identify the opportunities. So if you are sitting on a gain, please book the profit and at least use a trailing stop loss as your strategy. The market is not giving you a proper signal of money making right now.
You know, Sakshi and Miteshi, there is this lovely saying in North India, किसी को मुकम्मल जहाँ नहीं मिलता, कहीं ज़मीन तो कहीं आसमान नहीं मिलता. You want Maruti at 15,000, it's at 12,000. CLSA wants Bajaj Auto at 7,000, it is at 12,000. People want TCS at 5,700, it's at 4,500. And you want a rally in PSU stocks, but it's the chemical space that is rallying. So we will live with what the market gives us rather than what we expect the market to give. Two stocks I'd like to mention before we start wrapping up. One is Mitesh's pick already, Balaji Amines. Please keep an eye out on this one. This is the beginning of a new trend. After the stock has corrected very, very sharply, I see an all-time high of about 5,223 in I think 2021 of September, and the stock is now around 2,400. So this is the beginning of a new trend. Please bear this in mind. And another insecticides maker, Hiramb. Hiramb is actually a synonym of Ganesh. Please keep this stock in mind as well. Hiramb at the moment is trading at 525. I'll request Mitesh ji to look at the daily chart of Hiramb and give us a view. The stock was at about 275 rupees somewhere in May and is now at 525. Mitesh ji, Hiramb.
Yeah, so I think the charts tells the story both on the daily and the weekly chart. It's a higher top, higher bottom formation. So definitely the momentum is continuing and it will continue. But again, one should use the trailing stop loss. The next target should be 650 to 700. So use a stop of 480 and continue with the trend, because the trend is very strong and we are the sooner than later stock will surprise on the upside.
Got it. Mitesh ji, Shriram Finance, how are you looking at the stock right now at 1.8% higher, 3489?
See, again, in case of a Shriram Finance, what we are looking at is again a sustainability of the trend. So for us, actually 3620, 3620 is what we are looking at. If the stocks start trading about 3620, then probably yes, it's a very strong buy. And in that case, the stock is in the race to trade above 4500, 5000 sooner than later. It looks like a very aggressive target, but that is how it is placed right now. So 3620 is what we are looking at. Till that time, will not touch the stock.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks a lot, Mitesh, for being with us on this edition. We'll start wrapping up the trade in the morning edition of Market Today now, viewers. Positive bias for the Nifty. You see 25,424, just about 4 points higher in trade. It's the Nifty Bank clearly that is in the limelight, about half odd percent higher, 236 points up, 52,427 right now. Among the sectors, financial services, autos, the Nifty Bank as a whole, small caps are also looking good. Hero Moto has driven to the top spot. You have Shriram Finance, Bajaj Finance, SBI Life, HDFC Bank also among the heavyweight counters that are pulling up the Nifty Bank in trade today, and ITC also among the top movers. You have PFC, REC from the power space that are zooming ahead in trade, pulling up the entire PSU space too. Within the FNO space, you have MCX, Chambal Fertilizers, you have Hero Moto, Bandhan Bank, Power Finance Corporation as among the top movers as well. And apart from IT, which is definitely being seen as a lone top loser with a maximum, with a sharp downtick, 2.5% downtick that you're seeing on the IT space. The rest of the sectors are still flattish with a positive bias. It's the IT space you need to watch out for. There is a sharp correction going on the IT space, 2.5% down. So we will continue to watch out for how the IT story really pans out through the course of the day. But right now, the Nifty is still holding up above 25,400. Let's see how it goes. With that, we wrap up. Many thanks, viewers, for being with us. Thanks from both Shail and me. And we'll be back shortly with more interesting conversations with top market masters. So stay with us throughout the course of the day on Business Today.
WhatsApp is showcasing an experiential AI zone here. So let's find out and check out all the new features that WhatsApp has to showcase. But first, let's discuss WhatsApp's AI and privacy features with Alice Newton-Rex, Head of Product